Are you ready to find out what a business could look like when there are AI agents in the org chart? This is essentially a breakdown of how my current new business looks like when I have been running a virtual assistant agency for the last 7 years, and I've built an AI agency from scratch just with a lot of AI agents. Now, since 2019, since basically I was 23 years old, I'm 30 now, I have essentially run a virtual assistant agency called 2XU. That's the logo that you see right up here. I have basically run everything with humans. Even when AI started coming about in 2022 or 2023, I still had very much a human business. And the biggest reason is all of our virtual assistants are human, all of our clients are human, so we want to make sure that anything that interacts with a human stayed with a human. Now, when I started my AI agency about 6 months ago now and started getting clients for it, I wanted to get to the point where the business was really mostly AI agents, just as an experiment, and also at the same time, of course, fully adopting a lot of what I teach on this YouTube channel and also on my other YouTube channel when it comes to using AI in the day-to-day. So as a first caveat, I did not use AI to replace humans. I still have a ton of amazing people inside of both 2XU and in Rebuild AI Systems, and I want to make sure that that's clear first and foremost. Now, a human I did bring over from 2XU into Rebuild AI Systems is Hazel, who is basically our systems architect who helps consult and work with our clients when it comes to mapping out their business, their workflow, their processes, but the rest of it is mostly AI. Now, something that I went through that a lot of people who start essentially AI agents built businesses go through is we build a lot of these agents one at a time, depending on the need, depending on what it looks like. And this is essentially what I do also recommend for people is you want to start with blueprinting what already really works within your business, essentially creating a brain dump of how every single thing in your business works. And then you want to make sure that you're organizing all of them into what are the tools, what are the assets, what are the templates before creating the systems of what that actually would look like and how that works. And then you want to assign whether this is something to automate or this is something to delegate before finally integrating it and adding it inside of your business. This whole process is what I've been calling the BOSAI method, or BOSAI, where every single time I've created an agent or some sort of AI workflow, I run it through those same processes. But it did get to the point where I didn't want to open 5 different tabs just to talk to all of the agents at the same time, nor did I really want to keep talking to them inside of like Slack or something else. So I essentially have Albus. Now, Albus is my productivity wizard. It essentially is an agent that looks at the reports that all of my agents created and essentially brings it up to me. And essentially sends me a text every morning of what happened, what is off, what needs me, truly needs me inside of the different businesses that I do run. Essentially, I don't have to open Notion, I don't have to open Gmail, I don't have to open my Google Calendar, or even really open my Zoom to be able to have access or to know what's going on for my day. So we have Albus basically as kind of a chief AI staffer of like managing all of the other agents underneath it. If you want to really visualize and imagine it, there is me essentially as a person who is ideation, taking care of the strategy, the founder of We Build AI Systems. And then you have Hazel, who's our systems architect who works with our clients and essentially builds out a lot of the workflows. Underneath all of that are the AI agents. So we have Albus as the AI chief of staff. And then we have essentially Ella. Ella is my email manager. So in a few videos back, I talked about this with my own executive assistant, where she had an SOP of how she's currently managing my inbox. And we fed that whole process into Ella, who basically checks my email every 7 a.m. and goes through every single email and even follows up with people based off of my assistant's SOP. So it basically mimics how my assistant was already managing my email and co-works with my assistant on that. So it sorts, drafts, and flags anything that needs my attention or my executive assistant Honey's attention and makes sure that that is clean. Next is Snape, who is basically my relationship manager. Very similar to the character on Harry Potter, where essentially was kind of a double agent, but at the same time knew everyone and everything about the person and can read people's minds. Essentially to that point, that's why I named it Snape, of knowing all of the people who are inside of my CRM, when was the last time I talked to them, manages the Zoom transcripts and emails back and forth with that person, essentially grabs all that information every single time that I run or I'm about to hop on a call with a human. Now, Snape actually works with his own little assistant. I've named Mrs. Norris, listen, the cat in Harry Potter, that essentially runs around and grabs all of the information that Snape can manage. Next is we have Parado, which is my SOP Builder. Now, for We Build AI Systems, one of the things that we offer is building out the SOP database basically for our clients and essentially grabbing like a Loom or a Vidyard or a Google Drive video and turns it into an actual real SOP. So Parado actually helps me when it comes to client delivery and showing up in the day-to-day and producing a lot of these amazing SOPs for our clients. And then we have Bibbidi. Bibbidi is essentially the repurposing agent where every single video that I have at 6 p.m. every Thursday, it runs on NAN and essentially goes ahead and writes out the article, writes out the Facebook, the LinkedIn post, and also the captions for all of this and puts it into Notion. So for my own assistant, she just makes sure that it actually aligns, it makes sense, and then goes ahead and schedules it out. So Bibbidi is essentially the repurposing agent or sidekick that grabs all of these videos that you see on my YouTube channel and turns it into different pieces of content. And then you have Jack, which is basically my discovery call prepped. Anytime that someone books a call, a AI systems audit basically for their business, they book a call, Jack goes in and retrieves all of the information that's found online about that person. That way, when I'm about to hop on a call, I basically get a report about this person, who they are, what they do, who they've worked with, and how we can connect with them and how I can, different questions I can probably ask during the call. Now, something you might have noticed is I've assigned each agent one job, a task, essentially that is really focused on the things that I wanted to make sure that gets done inside of the business. The reason why a lot of people fail when it comes to creating essentially their own AI employees or agents is they have too many things built up. Really good example is Bibbidi used to be multiple different things. It used to be also grabbing my analytics, creating content ideas for me, everything else, but it was too noisy and too loud and I couldn't really run it on a clean automation. It kept making mistakes. So the moment I just narrowed down of like, you are just repurposing content, that's it. I will create something else for the analytics, I'll create something else for generating content, and essentially that made it easier for the agent or the workflow basically to work the same way every single time. It's also why I've created the Scale You AI Workflows series that I'm currently going on right now on TikTok, YouTube, and also of course on the website where I'm writing out all of the workflows that I've created so far. So if you guys want to check that out, go to webuildaisystems.com/workflows and you'll be able to see all of the workflows that I've talked about here so far. Now, one of my favorite agents that I've created outside of Albus is actually Doc. Now, Doc is, unlike all of the agents that has kind of work that needs to get done inside of the business, Doc is essentially the doctor inside of all of my agents. So it basically, anytime something breaks, let's say Bibbidi just didn't work, didn't start repurposing, Ella for some reason, missed a draft or missed something or wrote something completely incoherent, I would go ahead and ask Doc like, hey, this is the problem that happened. This is what the agent is supposed to do. And Doc essentially goes into each of these agents like markdown files or MD files and fixes it and makes sure that it is aligned with the output they actually want. Because a lot of the time, the thing with AI agents that annoys people the most is they break very quietly and confidently. It'll keep spouting out the wrong things confidently. So it seems like it's doing its job. It seems like it's actually doing the right thing. But in reality, it's actually already failed. 2 sessions ago, I just did not notice. And that is essentially the whole team that I have. But the thing here that I want to make sure that is understood within that org chart that we have for all of our AI agents is there's still very much a human in the loop. When it comes to Ella, when it comes to Bibbidi, when it comes to Jack, they basically do report to Albus, but Albus also reports to my assistant, Honey. And when it comes to Parado, when it comes to creating all of the SOPs for our clients, that still reports to Hazel, our systems architect, to make sure that it actually is correct, that it actually took the right screenshot at the right time when it comes to reviewing whatever that video that our client gave us. So you want to make sure that anything that needs judgment, anything that needs context, anything that needs a human relationship still stays human. And that's very much a very big key part of how to not fail when it comes to adding AI in your business is other than making sure you have the systems for it, making sure that you have the human layer to just not seem like the kind of founder who's just pushing anything and everything out just because AI said that this looks good. And again, if you want to create your own version of this, just basically follow the BOSAI framework of blueprinting what you already have, organizing all of that data, creating the systems for it so it creates the same thing over and over again, and then assigning whether this is something that's fully automated and this one is the human layer, and then integrating and iterating on it every single time, and basically having a doc agent that can fix the AIs when they're not creating the right type of output that you wanted it to create. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there. Comment below if you've created AI agents for yourself and for your business and what that org chart looks like. I'm super curious to know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Thursday on how to grow and thrive with a business in the age of AI. And if you want more career and AI advice, then I have a second channel for you right here, or just check out the latest video right here. Hope you guys have an amazing and wonderful day, and with that, small steps matters. And see you in the next video. Bye.